right, you knew what today's thought. I've been showing a lot of videos lately, and I'm going to have another one today, and may have one, probably will have one tomorrow. The reason I've been showing these videos is that just these interesting videos have been just coming up one after the other, and you know the old saying, picture's worth 1,000 words. Sometimes, instead of just having me talk, which I do anyhow sometimes, even if there is a video, I'll admit, mea culpa, sometimes it's better just to show a video that illustrates the point. Now, we're going to talk about elections, well, about winning in 2024. I just saw an article today saying that Republicans, to win, they have to focus on the issues, not so much on impeachment, yada, yada, yada. Well, regarding impeachment, if I can digress for a second, the facts are the facts. If the facts lead toward at least an impeachment inquiry, then the House has to go there. So, I'm going to throw in an aside here, because we had the whistleblowers testify. All this information coming out about Hunter Biden leading to Joe Biden, and these whistleblowers, IRS whistleblowers, testifying how they were stymied in their efforts to pursue any lead that led to Joe Biden, even to ask questions that could lead to Joe Biden. Couldn't talk about the big guy, couldn't ask about dad, quote unquote dad. So, Liz Peek, she writes editorials for the New York Post. She's on Fox a lot, at least Fox News, Fox Business. She's a talking head, opinions. But she went out and bought, everything is digital these days, I guess, but she went out and bought the physical New York Times for the past, 3-4 days, and for several days, and went through the physical paper from front to back, every single page, and she didn't find there was no reporting from the New York Times, the supposed newspaper of record, all the news, the slogan, all the news that's fit to print, and there was nothing, not one word, not one story about these about all this scandal and all these revelations that are coming up. So there's a question how long even the New York Times can ignore this burgeoning scandal. But it's just terrible how they've completely ruined the reputation of that paper. You can't take them seriously anymore if they don't even report the biggest news. If it were Trump, it would be front page headlines. So, let's not just admit the obvious. Anyways, I saw an article today saying Republicans need to stick to the issues, and Mitch McConnell said that I shouldn't say we, I'm not a Republican, I'm a conservative independent, but saying that it was poor quality candidates, we needed better candidates. Well, they're wrong, and that's what I want to talk about today and show a video that explains in detail better than I can the problem. But let's get to Herschel Walker. He supposedly was this terrible candidate. He got 57% of the vote. This was the problem though, on election day. How did he lose, or why did he lose? Because the Democrats had spent about a month ballot harvesting and collecting mail-in ballots and getting their people to vote. So you had days, most Republicans voted on one day, and you had, if not most, a lot of Democrats that had voted, day after day after day after day. So to win, and it was a close election, so the Republicans need to do the same thing. It's not about, be careful how much you spend on ads and things. You have Joe Biden running this basement campaign again, and he's relying on papers like the New York Times not to bury every negative story about him, but also they're putting their money into just thanks to Democrats, we've become a nation of ward healers, at least in the swing states where there's a Democratic government, majority Republican, Democrat governor, Democrat legislature. So that's that's what the problem was, that the Republicans have to get out the vote, and you don't. The Democrats have already shot their wad. In other words, they have this massive machine for getting out. They got out in the last election, the midterm, and probably in 2022, every vote that they could get, every Democratic vote they could get. So one has to wonder how many more there are out there to get. Meanwhile, the Republicans didn't do any of that stuff. So maybe they've got hundreds of thousands of gettable votes out there. They have a much richer target environment, and they wouldn't need that many. If you have, say, Herschel Walker, 57%, Republicans don't even have to win the early vote and when all the ballot harvesting. They just have to be even, or even they can be a little bit behind. And that's the point of this video. Now, the person speaking, his name is Scott Presler, and he spoke at a convention, Turning Point USA. It's a conservative group, young people's group, I think, college level students, whatever. It's a pretty prominent convention, happens every year. This Scott Presler spoke at that convention. I think it's a little lengthy video, but it's definitely worth watching. And any Republican campaign operative especially, and candidate, they all need to see this video, and I'm going to show it right now.
Let me explain to you why I'm pushing for early voting. Here's the reason. We together must make Joe Biden a one-term president. Need I say more? Real quick, let's go through it. Number one, do you guys know who Kari Lake is? Who's that? And it's criminal what happened in the great state 48. It's criminal, but it showed something to us. We told the opposition what we were going to do. We told them our plan. Why in football would we tell the opposition where we're going to throw it? And 30% of machines go down in Maricopa County on what day? Election day. Then in Harris County, Texas, because look, I listen, and you say to me, Scott, one day, one vote, one paper ballot. I understand that, I hear that, I acknowledge that. Harris County, Texas ran out of paper ballots on what day? Election day. Luzerne County, Pennsylvania, Republican County, ran out of paper ballots on what day? Election day. Adam Laxalt lost by 8,000 votes in Nevada. It snowed in Washoe County and Reno, because our people, we like to live in the mountains, we're mountain folk. It snowed on what day? Election day. So the Democrats, they weren't freaking out, they weren't panicking. They had already ballot harvested. They had already early voted. They already mailed in their votes. And Republicans were going, guys, please, I know it's snowing. Please go vote. Imagine what we could have done stopping the Democrats from having a majority right now, defeating an incumbent Democratic senator in the state of Nevada. And so I am calling for an all of the above approach to voting. Yes, we're gonna do election day voting, but we are gonna use the tools of the Democrats to elect Republicans. We are gonna early vote. We are gonna go in person. We are gonna do mail-in voting. We are gonna do absentee ballots. And we are gonna have ballot boxes at churches and gun shows. Two can play at this game. You didn't realize I was going to bring the fire. I'm not just hair, guys. Number two, do you guys know who John Fetterman is? Hey, we're gonna be classy. Bless his heart. See, was not a good setup? I got you. And so, But more importantly, I love the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and it's a shame what's happened. But the fact of the matter is when Dr. Oz and John Fetterman, before they debated, 500,000 Pennsylvanians already voted. And you know what's worse? 4 out of 5 of those voters were registered Democrats. So guys, the Democrats were going into Election Day with a bank of 400,000 votes. And imagine me being a Democratic operative. I'm going, this is great. I got 400,000 fewer people to reach out to. And you know what? I got time. And I got money. And those Republicans, they don't have time, they don't have money, and they're all waiting to vote on one day. So this is gonna be great for us. We're sliding into base while the Republicans are marching this arduous, treacherous journey uphill, and we are wishing and praying and hoping that everybody's gonna show up on one day, Election Day. And you know what? I do want to talk about this psychological effect. Let's talk about Florida for a second. Because this was a state that voted for President Obama twice. This was the ultimate battleground swing state. Do you know what happened in 2022? For the first time in history, Republicans won early voting plus mail-in voting statewide in Florida. That's never happened ever. And what's the result? Think about this. Pretend I'm a guy and I'm living in Broward County with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Ugh. I know. Imagine if I see in 2016 that Hillary Clinton has an insurmountable early vote lead. Am I that guy in blue Broward gonna be inspired to vote? Probably not. I'm gonna be dejected. I'm gonna be demoralized. But what if I'm a guy in Broward County and I saw, like in 2022, that Republicans were winning early voting in Duval County, Jacksonville, and Clearwater, Pinellas County, and Seminole County, and West Palm Beach County, and Miami-Dade County? If I see that Republicans are winning in blue counties with early voting, you bet you're behind I am gonna turn out. And that's how we're going to win, by getting those low propensity voters that have it in their heads that we can't win, and we're gonna show them we can. And no, I'm not just talking about those swing states. This message is to every person that's in Washington and Oregon and Rhode Island and Connecticut and Delaware and Maine and Vermont, New Hampshire. This is to every person who thinks you can't. I'm telling you right now, we can. And more importantly, we will.
That's my thought for today. Republicans, you've been warned. The warning is right there. You need to heed it. And the rest of you, if you could subscribe, that would be really great. Share this video with anyone you think, especially a Republican candidate or campaign worker. And most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.